What's up guys, Voides here, giving you guys a gameplay commentary on the E-Day beta and my thoughts and what I think the coalition should fix for the full release, or at least tone some things down. I've been playing the beta a lot with my friends, we've been having a lot of fun. We've been enjoying ourselves, playing a lot of matches, but obviously not everything's gonna be perfect. So I'd hope the coalition sees this, or if not from me, from someone bigger in the community. Here are some of the thoughts that I had on what should be fixed or toned down at least a tiny bit. So trades, I feel like they happen more often than not. I've had a lot of occurrences where I've killed someone and they're already dead, but somehow they still end up killing me. It feels too forgiving and it's honestly a little frustrating. I've noticed this happen a lot during an up A encounter where a player is sliding into me and they'll chunk me 1 second after I kill them. I'm pretty sure that's a server issue. I've noticed throughout this beta where I've had plenty of games where I've had over 90 ping. I'd hope for the coalition to fix this issue where you get a more centralized server. Like if you're playing with the squad, pick one that's in the middle of everyone so we have the best possible connection. Another thing I've noticed is the aim assist feels a little too strong at moments. I feel like they did this to bring in more casual players. Should be slightly toned down. It's very strong, kind of like COD or Apex. I've had instances where I pull out a snub pistol and I could just beam someone from very far away due to the aim assist. I know they're trying to get the most players they can and hopefully retain them, but I'd hope for it to be slightly toned down, at least to where Gears 4 competitive was, or how Gears 5 was, where it was almost non-existent. That way players can eventually get better and it'll help them in the long run. Another thing I'd like to talk about is the Nasher drop-off damage. I feel like with how fast people can close the distance with the up A momentum boost, you often don't have enough time to switch to another weapon to defend yourself. If they would tone down the up A boost, I think it would be better in the long run and help at least a defensive player be able to swap weapons and maybe get a shot off to protect themselves. And mid-range for the Nasher is basically non-existent. Close range, you basically always get a chunk with how fast people can get to you in this game. If you're shooting them from mid-range with the Nasher and they're closing the distance on you, you most likely always die. Obviously there's a lot of occurrences where you don't and you get them down, but with how fast this game is currently, you often die. So I'd hope for the Nasher's mid-range to be slightly tweaked, so where you have at least a chance to defend yourself or increase the damage for the Nasher a little bit. Not too much, because if it's too much, you're basically gonna be able to down people from like in Gears 2 from a mile away. The Lancer isn't too bad. I think it's at a good spot damage wise, but with the current stopping power, it should be adjusted a little bit, or at least remove stopping power from the Lancer completely. The Snow Pistol needs a slight nerf, damage wise. I've had instances where I swap to my pistol and I can down someone while they're closing in on me and they have no way to defend themselves. If they don't reduce the damage, at least put a fire cap on it so where you can't spam it all the way. I think this will help in the long run to make the game overall better, and so people won't be frustrated with how strong the snub is. Another weapon that I feel needs to be slightly toned down a bit is the retro. The retro is very powerful. I know it's intended to be very powerful. The ammo count is great at 90 shots. I think that's perfect. But the damage needs to be slightly toned down a bit. Overall, I think the ranges of where you could down people for the retro is very good. And I'd like for the ranges to be the same throughout the full release. As for pickup weapons, the Vulcan is very overpowered. I feel like they should reduce the ammo count to 100 instead of 150. I think the Incinerator's ammo count should be reduced. It's a very powerful gun. 6 shots is a lot for a power weapon, you know. Maybe if they put it to 4 shots, it would be a lot better. Other than that, the Incinerator is fine as it is. The Gut Puncher, damage-wise, is very good and balanced, but the ammo count is a lot for it. Maybe if they dropped it down to 3 shots, it would be a lot better in the long run. And that's all I think for the weapon tuning. I feel like the sliding should be more consistent, because when you come out of a up A, it's very quick, and you can often gain range on someone. The strafing speed should be sped up a slight bit. It's a very defensive maneuver, and with all the new changes they made in this game, like the sliding, it's easy for someone sliding to gain an advantage on you and close the distance. Maybe if they slightly tweaked it, it'll help a defensive player get away from that person sliding, or at least another person that's up aing. Another thing I've noticed is that this game has a lot of camera shake when you're wall bouncing. It feels very fast, and they should adjust this. Sometimes your aim acceleration boosts too much when you're wall bouncing, so you can't even notice where you're going. Those are all the thoughts I have on movement based things. As for ranked, I feel like they should have a solo and dual separate mode. That way you don't play against stacks all the time. It'll help balance the player base if you're a solo player or a duo player. Sometimes playing against a stack when you're solo or duo is very frustrating, because obviously they have that communication, so they'll have a better advantage on where to position themselves overall. Obviously they should keep regular playlists, but hopefully they add a solo and duo playlist in the future to help balance this issue out. And as for game mode changes, I feel like Conquest should be 2 rounds, cause I've had instances where I've swept a team 4-0 and the game would end in like 5 minutes or less. If there was a second round, it would extend the duration of the game and make it a lot enjoyable and more competitive approach. And for the full release, I hope they bring execution back for competitive. I'm not sure if they are. Most likely they are, since it's a classic Gears game mode and people love that game mode. Overall, the multiplayer is not bad. It has its few downsides, but with the next few months that the Coalition has, they should be able to tweak it and fix a lot of these issues. As for frame rate optimization, I hope when the full game releases they give you an option to turn off the ray tracing, because it limits your frame rate on PC at least, and it makes it drop a lot, I've noticed. I know they had the option to turn it off in Gears 5, and it would help reduce the latency and frame time that you would get. Overall, I want this game to succeed and bring in new players. I played every single Gears game since I was 7 years old. I love this franchise. It's my favorite franchise ever. I think this game has the most potential to bring in newcomers with how much things they're doing to the game. Obviously, they want to retain the player base. I'd hope they do, because I love this game. As for Horde, I love what they're doing with Horde. Siege is very different from traditional Horde. I'm pretty sure they'll have traditional Horde in the full game. So I think everything they're doing with Horde should be the same. They shouldn't change anything. I'd hope they bring back Beast Mode or Overrun. Those game modes are very fun. I had a lot of enjoyable moments on Overrun. We haven't seen that game mode in a very long time. I'd hope this game brings it back for the full release. That's pretty much I have for you guys. You guys have a wonderful day and rest of the week, and peace out.
mercy.